6 goals, 4 pitch invaders, 10 added minutes, but most importantly, 3 points. Quite the eventful game to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's time for the match reaction. Celtic 6, Aberdeen 0. If there's one way to respond to a 6-0 defeat, it's with a 6-0 win. So we've got quite a lot to unpack in today's video. A very good performance from Celtic, Brendan Rodgers' side, taking us into the international break in the best possible manner. So I'm sitting here with a smile on my face. I'm sure you're sitting there with a smile on your face. So many more positives than negatives to talk about. If you haven't already, make sure to hit like and subscribe. But let's get into the match reaction. It was always going to be an interesting game today, no matter what the result was or how we played. There were so many questions to be answered. What was the team going to be with some injuries? How are we going to respond to the 6-0 defeat to Atletico Madrid? How would we respond to the earlier result where Rangers put some pressure on us? There was so much topic of conversation heading into today's game, but Celtic, they made short work of Aberdeen today. They made it look so easy. A feeble Aberdeen side. Celtic really picked them apart, and you'd think that Aberdeen were playing with 10, 9 men at a time. A credit to how good we were tonight. I thought that we were outstanding. There were so many players that, you know, these match reaction videos, they usually only last between 10-15 minutes. I could dedicate 10 or 15 minutes to numerous individuals in today's performance. I don't even think there's enough words or minutes in this video that could sum up the appreciation towards some of the performances that we've seen today. A lot of players who have been doubted at times as well, and a lot of players who've just been waiting for their opportunity. Just so many positives to share around the game. I honestly don't know how I'm going to manage to sum it up in one video. So if you think that I've not given enough credit to a certain individual in this video, don't worry. I think overall Celtic had a 10 out of 10 5-star performance, and most players chipping into that with, you know, 10 out of 10 performances. I felt like we were really good today. So let's go back to the first half then, and I just remember saying on the way to the ground, I just hope we get the job done early. I hope that we manage to just settle the nerves. We don't let anything last too long. We don't give Aberdeen any opportunities. And then bang, within 10 minutes, Yang gives us the opening goal. A really well worked phase of play down that left-hand side. Palma sent in a tremendous cross, and Yang was standing there basically unmarked and nodded the ball home. Yang today, first half especially, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I thought that you've seen the direct approach that he brought to the team, making a really big difference on that right-hand side. And Aberdeen were struggling to contain him. And he has that flair in his game as well. You know, people kept talking about the flair that Jota was taking out the door with him. And how would we replace that? Well, you've got two players playing on each side today that have bags of it. You've got Palma on one side and Yang on the other. And for as raw as a player Yang is, with a lot of development yet to go in his game, he certainly delivers on the flair. He certainly has that in his locker. Some of the things that he was doing, he was turning Aberdeen players inside out. And I think in that first half in particular, because the second half was quite slow, and we'll talk about why, but in that first half, the fullbacks could not contain either of them, Yang or Palma. They linked up brilliantly. We get the lead, and then 5 minutes later, Kyogo steps up, he makes it 2, and that was the game done. I mean, at that point, Aberdeen didn't look as though they had any interest in the game. Joe Hart would have been better off sitting on the bench today. I think if we played with no goalkeeper, Aberdeen would have had no goals. But Kyogo sealed 3 points within 15 minutes for Celtic. And it was another well-worked goal. Kyogo, who I thought could have had another couple on top of that today as well. Yeah, he made it 2-0, bags another one for himself. And for the rest of the first half, we were just playing with Aberdeen, I thought. We played some really nice football. Everybody was clicking defensively. We weren't asked many questions, but Scales, Vickers, Johnson, Taylor, they were all doing their job really, really well. We were playing about with them. You know, we were making them look like rookies. It was pretty much the opposite of what we experienced on Tuesday night. Instead, we were the team that was in control, and we were the team that was playing with the opposition. And you know, Aberdeen are a side that still, for as difficult as this season's been for Aberdeen and for all their struggles, they have quality in that side. We know that. I don't think they've adapted to playing the European football with this squad, and that's really held them back. You could see tiredness in the Aberdeen players because they got dirty towards the end, but we were just toying with them. And 2-0 up at half-time, we could have had maybe 2 or 3 more to add to that. Yeah, things were going really well, coasting come the half-time whistle. Second half then, we've got a few things to talk about in that second half because it was a really stop-start game, wasn't it? It was a tough second half to watch. And that's nothing down to the way Celtic played or anything like that. There was just so many stoppages, so many VAR decisions. It was a really difficult second half to really get by. It dragged in probably the longest I've been at Celtic Park for a game. I can't think of any games that have lasted longer than that. I think there was 4 or 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half, 10 minutes added on at the end of the second half. It dragged in, and then when the football stops for large periods of time, for the head clash, for example, it makes the game go slower because you're not watching football, you're watching 22 guys stand in a park. So it kind of dragged the second half. But let's talk about one of the major talking points, and let's get the head clash out the way first. Kyogo, very lucky to be walking out the ground this afternoon. You seen them getting the stretchers prepared, and I honestly thought he would have had to get stretchered. Reckless, absolutely stupid from the Aberdeen player to go flying in the way he does. It's a diving headbutt. That's a Chris Benoit style headbutt. Unbelievable. Kyogo's extremely lucky to be walking. And the referee brandishes a yellow card. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken. I thought that red cards were given out for endangering an opposition player. I thought that was one of the rules. If you endanger an opposition player, it's a straight red card. The referee is given, Willie Collum is given a yellow card. And I know you can... It's sometimes these are tough because it's a head clash. You don't want to be too harsh on a player. It's a clash of heads. That's not just a clash of heads. He goes in right on Kyogo's head. He dives into him and knocks him out. And he's given a yellow card. Now I know both players have to be examined at that point. You're hoping that both players are okay, but that's a red card. He's endangered Kyogo. I've seen worse, but I've seen red cards given for less as well. And I hope that Kyogo's okay. I don't think Brendan Rodgers, to this moment in time, I'm kind of checking my screen as I go along here, I don't think Brendan Rodgers has given an update on Kyogo yet. I don't know if that's going to be a concussion or anything else. I pray and I hope that he's okay. My wishes are with Kyogo in his recovery. But that's a shocker. That is an absolute shocker. There's no need to dive in like that. It's not going in to win a header. It's so ill thought out. And Kyogo's extremely lucky to walk off the park this afternoon. It was shocking. And then from that point on, Aberdeen just got even worse with it. I thought they were really dirty. Really dirty. They were just kicking Celtic players all over the park. The referee, I thought, had a very poor control of the game this afternoon. We kept getting fouls. Yep, of course, we got a penalty as well. But the referee had a very poor control of the game. I thought he was letting Aberdeen have free rein and whatever they wanted to do. We got through it incredibly well. It didn't affect us. We didn't rise to anything. But as I said, prayers and thoughts with Kyogo at the moment. Hope that he's okay and hopefully we get an update soon. I don't want to see him out for any length of time, but the priority is that he's okay first of all, because that's a seriously bad head knock to take. And of course from that point on we did wait a while for our third goal, but the game was so stop-start, I thought it was difficult to find a rhythm in that second half, but we fought through it well. We were still in total control. I actually want to have a look at the stats. Are they here? I want to see how many Aberdeen had 3 shots, 1 on target. I remember Hart making the save. Unbelievable compared to Celtic's 21 shots with 10 on target. They were not in the game at all. So we had to wait. We had to bide our time. Eventually we got the penalty. Luis Palma steps up. He scores. I can't believe it. Celtic scoring a penalty in front of my very eyes. We have a penalty taker now. It's got to be him. We've been hearing from a lot of people who watched Luis Palma and his time in South America, his time in Greece, saying that he's great at set pieces, he's great at penalties, he's been a penalty taker. That he's got to be the man on penalties now. I don't think there's any question about it. But just talking about Luis Palma, because this was his goal, what a performance from him today. 3 assists and a goal. What a performance from Luis Palma. He's a special talent, and I've been saying this for weeks now. I think he's unbelievable, Luis Palma. I think that he's going to be the next big thing for us. I really love what he can do with a football. I think that he's got all the technical ability that you need in a winger. For that pace that some people think he lacks, he makes up for what he can do with the ball at his feet. The penalty was really well taken. His assists were all fantastic. You've got a real special player there. He is the Jota replacement. He is. And I accepted that when we signed him. I was excited to see what he could do because I looked at his goal return and grace. I heard things about him. I was excited for him. But now, he's started this season so well. And the confidence is brimming out of him at the minute. So, he adds to his goal tally, his goal contributions today. Fantastic. And then 10 minutes added on, people start piling out the stadium, game's over, whatever. But if you missed the 3 goals at the end, you shouldn't have walked out. You missed a show. I don't blame you, right enough. It was a long one to sit through when 10 minutes added time. Oof. But we made a good show of that 10 minutes. 3 goals in said 10 minutes. David Turnbull with 1, O with a double. I'm so happy for O. I really am. And listen, I was starting to doubt O a little bit. I was never on the side that a lot of people were on, disregarding them and whatever. Give him chances, he will score. And he's getting chances now, whereas in the past he wasn't getting them. And now he is, and he's converting them. 2 very good finishes from him today. He's got his season kick-started now after the first one against St Mirren. And that's just the confidence he needed in that St Mirren game. And you can see that now in his game. Not just with the goals, but just the way he's playing altogether, his movement. I mean, his second goal, the one right at the end of the game, he takes that brilliantly. You know, the way that he runs with it. And a lot of players, you know, we've seen Kyogo do it. We've seen the best of the best do it. You know, you run through one-on-one with a keeper and then you make a hash of it. You hit it right at them, you put it wide, you blaze it over the bar. Cool as you like. Oh, slots it past Roos. And you know, I just love seeing that from him. I love that he's finding that confidence now. I love that he's answering the questions that Celtic fans were putting in front of him. And it was a really good performance from him off the bench this afternoon, showing that we can trust him as a second choice striker. Do I still think we need reinforcement in that department? Absolutely, because just for the talking sakes, if Kyogo's out for a while, you've only got O as a recognised striker. We do need reinforcement in that department, but I like that O is now answering the question as to whether or not he's a reliable option to score goals when Kyogo's not in the park. I thought his performance off the bench today was really, really good. I was really happy with him. And Matt O'Reilly, he set up the second goal. He got the assist. He also got the assist for Kyogo's goal. Great performance from him. Everybody was just clicking. And shout out to David Turnbull, of course, for another goal from outside the box. Yeah, it's just the statement performance that we wanted before this international break, you know, for the kind of ups and downs that Celtic have experienced both on and off the park in recent weeks, with injuries, with the European result. You know, it's obviously nice to just go into this international break scoring 6 goals, increasing a goal difference in the league, keeping that 8-point gap between us and Rangers. It's really good. It's a lovely way to end this phase of the season. We come back stronger now. We should answer more questions when we hopefully put Motherwell to the sword next. Things are looking good on the green side of Glasgow. That's all I'm saying. Brendan Rodgers, that's a broad ball performance, my sir, and I want more of it. Right, that'll do it for today. I've yapped on and all the rest of it. We will go a bit more in depth through the week. Hopefully we'll have some updates as well on the likes of Kyogo. But really impressed with what I've seen of Celtic today. Some really good performances from certain individuals. I'm happy. Good way to end the weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll be back in the channel tomorrow, so keep an eye out for the videos. And yeah, international break. Woohoo. See you next time.